The city of Milwaukee, a city full of theater, music, art, and history. But most of all, it's filled with great food and drink. So many of us know the amazing treasures Milwaukee has to offer, but have you ever wondered about the many little jewels in Milwaukee's collection? Those places to meet your neighbors and enjoy great grub? Well, discover all this and more on Milwaukee's edition of Off the Eatin Path. Our first stop off the Eatin Path is a 75-year-old landmark where the people are friendly, the staff keeps you laughing, and the burgers are buttery. Welcome to Solly's Grill. Meet Glenn Fieber, the man who runs the grill in the morning and owner of Solly's Grill.
My stepfather, Kenneth Salmon, started the business in 1936. And of course, he loved to put butter on his hamburgers. And so since then, we've called them Butterburgers. Since 1936, we started on Green Bay Avenue, just north of Burleigh Street. And then in 1971, Solly moved the restaurant down here to Port Washington Road in the city of Glendale. So Solly ran the business till 1975 when he passed away. And then my mother, Sylvia Salmon, kept the business going, and then I bought it from my mother in 1993.
Solly's has been nationally recognized for their Butterburgers, but for the folks here at Solly's, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
We're the original Butterburger, and people have just picked up on that. Well, we use 100% sirloin patty, hamburger patty. Okay, there's no fillers, anything like that. We use 100% pure sweet Wisconsin creamy butter, and it melts very well, and it marries itself very well to the taste of the 100% sirloin. We use a nice old-fashioned good hamburger bun, and then we stew our own onions with our own recipe, and that's been a popular item for many, many years. Well, of course, the Butterburger is the main dish. One burger that has become very popular here is the Solly's Cheesehead Burger, which we developed a couple of years back when the Green Bay Packers were in the Super Bowl in New Orleans. That's two patties, two 1/3 pound sirloin hamburger patties, and then we have a slice of raw onion in between with melted cheese on that. Then we put a 1/3 pound burger on top of that, and on top of that we put our famous stewed onions and stewed grilled mushrooms, and then American cheese and Swiss cheese on top of that. And so it's quite a big hamburger.
And they're not just doing burgers and fries. They start every morning right with a full breakfast menu, and they're doing homemade pies daily and delicious old-fashioned malts.
I do the grilling in the morning for the breakfast, and we do a regular farm-style, American-style breakfast, and the pancakes for breakfast, and hash browns and eggs and steak and so forth. We make our own malts here. They're not like a soft serve type malt. We use real ice cream and so forth. In fact, our newest malt is called the Door County Cherry Hot Fudge Chocolate Malt. So, and that's become very popular now, and we're doing that for our 75th anniversary.
And Solly's isn't without a few famous friends. Andrew Zimmern, Troy Evans, and Keith Fame are all fans, as well as Milwaukee's own Jeff Wagner and Jonathan Green.
George Motz, the film director from New York, came in and filmed us and pretty much dubbed us the America's best Butterburger, original Butterburger, and it took off from there. And then the newspapers started making us #1 in the United States, and we're just best 10, and actually in Playboy.com a couple years ago, which was kind of popular, so helped us out a little bit.
Even though Solly's burgers are legendary, what keeps everyone coming back is the atmosphere. And there's no doubt the best part of Solly's is the people, both behind the counter and in front.
I think being here in the city of Glendale, Milwaukee County, helps the city with a place to go for people. And people need places to go to eat and talk with each other and sit with each other and relax. because the world is very fast nowadays. But you can come to Solly's and just meet people at the counter and talk to a total stranger and have a great time. I'd like people to come in and enjoy our old-fashioned hamburgers and malts. But I want people to come in here and taste our good food and become familiar with our restaurant and love the atmosphere of sitting down and being able to talk to somebody sitting next to you and enjoy the experience.
And it's that one-of-a-kind Solly's experience that's been pulling in the locals for 75 years. And it's been 3/4 of a century where great community and great food go hand in hand. Our next stop off the Eatin path is nothing if not unique. This 18-year-old joint that started with good coffee and tasty tea has become more than just a neighborhood pit stop. Now, with a great menu of soups and vegan and non-vegan sandwiches and service that speaks for itself, Fuel Cafe is doing things their way and loving it. Co-owner of Fuel, Scott Johnson, sat down to give us the skinny on what Fuel's been up to for the last 18 years.
With my partner Leslie, we started it in 1993, so be 18 years old this year. We started out with just coffee, with just like beverage-based menu, but then we found out that if you still have to have a 4-compartment sink and refrigeration and all these other things anyway, because you need to have refrigeration, sinks, and all that stuff. So you have to do all that stuff anyway. So it's like, well, we're going to be serving bakery, we might as well make sandwiches, and then it just kind of snowballs from there. It's like, oh, we're already doing this, we could do that. We're already doing this, we could do that. I think it's unique because it's a unique neighborhood. And when we started it, we really had no money to start it. So that kind of makes it unique. Everything that we got in this place was we got for free or found on the curb or got at thrift stores it was just kind of like started that way in a super thrifty kind of way. Plus, when we started, it was like kind of punky aesthetic. We were a lot younger then. It's just like what we were into at the time. I don't know, like a lot of different things, It's motorcycle stuff. There's like a big motorcycle theme happening here because I really like motorcycles and motorcycle racing, so that was like a big part of it. I don't know, I think it's all the people that have worked here over the years and what they've brought to it and just whatever we're into at the time. When we first started, it was, it was a lot different time. It was 1993. There wasn't that many restaurants or coffee shops really in the city at that time at all yet. The whole push hadn't really started. Starbucks was a thing, but it was really small. And there was a couple other really small coffee shops that were starting up in the city. Brewed Awakenings was one of them. And so it was just like being at the right place at the right time.
And things definitely snowballed. Since then, they've slowly expanded their menu to include soups and hearty sandwiches with meat, like the ham and cheese croissants, and some without meat, like the Garden of Eatin, which includes jalapeno cream cheese aioli, cucumbers, red peppers, onions, tomatoes, lettuce, sprouts, and cheddar cheese. But that's not all. They even have vegan options like vegan smart bacon, vegan cream cheese, and vegan A's.
What inspired us to have vegan food on our menu or have a lot of vegan items was really just the staff here. I was a vegetarian a long time ago. I'm not anymore, but the people that we've had working here, years ago were vegetarian and vegan, and they always suggested it to us. And then one of our employees a long time ago, Caroline Collins, she was like the big impetus, the big push. She's vegan, she still is. She doesn't work here anymore, but she was the big push to do the vegan stuff. She said there's a big market for it, and that's basically the reason why. I like to eat the Buttafuoco. But that's got cheese on it, so it's not very vegan and not very healthy. But that's a sandwich that my partner started making a long time ago, and it's like one of our signature items. It's like a sub roll with lots of cheese and lettuce and tomato and giardiniera peppers on it. So it's vegetarian, but not vegan.
And Fuel is all too familiar with what it's like to be a local business, so they do what they can when they can to support other local businesses like them in the area.
And we've always bought stuff from Glorioso's and El Rey, just because they serve the stuff that we want to buy. But we do it when we can and when we can afford it. Try to keep the prices cheap. For this neighborhood, it's really important that we keep things affordable. I think for any business, doesn't matter where it is, but this neighborhood in particular, try to keep it inexpensive. There's a lot of students and lower income families, so it's like you got to try to keep it as cheap as possible. So sometimes getting like the local organic thing isn't necessarily the best thing that you can do to serve your customers because they just really can't afford that. So everybody has like something to offer, and you know that's the thing that we offer is maybe not necessarily like the healthiest option, like the Buttafuoco sandwich, not the healthiest sandwich in the world, but we just do what we do and try to do it well.
And Fuel's neighborhood is its top priority, because for Fuel, their neighbors are more than just customers. They're a part of what fuels the Fuel Cafe.
Or what kind of effect has the cafe had in the community? I don't really know. I know that the effect that they've had on us, which has been really positive, that there's people here to come here all the time. You know, we've always been like a real neighborhoody kind of place, and that's thanks to the people that come here. So the neighborhood has always been really receptive to us, and we try to reciprocate that. So I think it's a good relationship. You know, we try to stay tied in with the people here, and most of the people that work here live in the neighborhood, and been here for a long time. So it's just like a long-standing relationship. Just feels good. It wouldn't feel right to be anywhere else. You know, when we first started, there would be like little kids would come in here with their parents, and now some of them work here. You know, like that kind of stuff is really awesome. It's just like to see the natural transition of things, which is something you don't anticipate when you're young and you start something. Not even something that you can anticipate that you will even see or feel, but it's kind of cool when it happens.
And in 18 years, Fuel Cafe has had a lot of successes to be proud of. But the thing they're most proud of is their longevity.
The fact that we've been able to make it through so many different changes, and you know, like when coffee culture first started, and it was really great, and then the whole Starbucks, and you know, like so many more coffee shops opened up, and national chains came in, and we were able to hold our own through that, and the economic ups and downs of the U.S. economy, but even just for this neighborhood also, just being able to be here as long as we have been. I think just like the same kind of thing that you would get from going to any sort of independent, like small business, you know, like small restaurant. So that's not a chain. It has its own personality, its own quirkiness, things that you like really like, things that you maybe don't like so much, or you know, it's going to be an individual experience. Like that's why people go to places that are, you know, mom and pop kind of places that aren't chains. They're kind of strange. I mean, Fuel's kind of strange, and in a really good way, and it's just different, and it's off the beaten path, and it's got its own personality, and I think that's what makes it great.
And though the horizon is bright for Fuel, their main goal is keeping all that makes the cafe what it is, and that's pure fuel.
Where is the restaurant heading in the next 5 or 10 years is hard to say. I mean, I think we'll be right here for sure. The menu will be a little bit bigger. Maybe we'll do like a little bit more diner style food. You know, more just like hot meals instead of just sandwiches and soup. But other than that, really not much is going to change. Kind of like it the way it is. We change it around a little bit. Maybe put in like a lunch counter or something like that, but pretty much keep it just like it is.
After being off the eaten path for a while, you're likely to get thirsty, and that's where our next spot comes in. It's been a local watering hole that requires its patrons to relax and have fun. So step on up and waltz into the gig. Owner Barry Lewis shared all you need to know about the one and only gig.
It's been a bar and I don't know how far back it's been, but it was before me. It was a place called the Barrel Riders, and I'm thinking it was the Barrel Riders for 15, 20 years. And there were two owners of that, and then before that it was a place that catered to the tanneries along the river. So it's been a bar here it's got to be 70 years or more. I've been in the business since my college days. I started out working in little restaurants in the kitchen, dishwasher, cook. I liked what I was doing and it paid the bills, and eventually got involved more and more in new locations, became into management, just took advantage of the opportunities that came about, and ran a couple places in the Milwaukee area, and I bought my first business about 12 years ago.
The gig is greatly shaped by its neighborhood, and they're doing their best to make sure everyone feels welcome. And one way they're making the place feel like home to the neighbors is the pool tables.
Well, when we first opened up, we were going to take out the pool tables, but after being here for 6 weeks to 2 months, people were kept knocking on the door to see what was going on. And the one thing they kept saying was, please don't take out the pool tables. So we left them here, and it's a great draw. We try to mix it up a little bit here, try to get the clientele or the customers more involved in what's going on, especially in the summer months when you're in the bar business. Business is kind of slow with the festivals. So sponsoring teams is a good way to get people into your establishment. So we've been sponsoring kickball for about 5 years. I've had softball since we've been here. We sponsored a couple other things. Volleyball is very popular now, especially along Bradford Beach. Pool leagues in the summer. I've sponsored bowling, flag football. So it's another way to get people to come into your establishment.
And the gig doesn't just stay in the neighborhood. They also invite their patrons to venture out and enjoy a baseball game together.
Right now we're doing brewer games. We do 1 or 2 a year. It's something that's unique and different, and people get a real big kick out of it. We'll take a bus, about 50 people. We'll go out and have a good time and come back. I think last year we did it twice. We've done it 3 times in a few years. It all depends on how well the brewers are doing, if we do it 3 times a year or not. But everyone gets a big kick out of it. It's like a big fun-filled day.
And for Barry, giving his patrons something new is very important. So he offers several beers that are brewed locally and different microbrews to keep people guessing.
Well, with the beers, it just kind of goes with the times. When we started here, the small craft or the microbeers weren't really all that popular. We pushed lakefront products because they're basically down the street. But then more and more new small breweries opened up in the area. The clientele here started to shift with the school kids, and they wanted the different beers, the craft beers. So the beer list is always kind of changing, but I think it's getting more toward these small craft beers.
But the gig has one feature they wouldn't trade for anything, and that's the neighborhood they've called home for years.
Well, I like that neighborhood aspect because you can kind of come in and you can get a chance to meet your neighbors, especially, like say during a snowstorm where people don't normally go out, but they just want to go out and talk to people. They just don't want to get out of the house. So this right here is a place where people who live in a 2 or 3 block radius will actually walk here, have a good time, meet someone who just moved in the neighborhood or someone that lives in the neighborhood that they didn't know lived here. And it's just kind of a great little meeting place. I think that people should come here because it's a nice, friendly place. That we have a great staff. The clientele are great. Everyone's just here to have fun. You're not here to be seen. You're just here to have fun. We offer a lot of things to do, from pool to darts. We have a jukebox, several TVs with sporting events. So, and it's easy on the pocketbook too. We're generally known for cheap drinks. So.
And much like the gig, the Irish Knot is also trying to build a sense of community. Only this one comes with an Irish flair. Bartender Jared Obendorfer tells us what you can expect on a typical visit to the Irish Knot.
So it's more of a cozy at-home kind of bar. When you come in, you should probably know your bartender because it's trying to keep like a friendly atmosphere with the neighborhood and most of the people who live around here. It's a good meeting place for the locals.
And the locals come together for more than just an evening drink. They get together to talk shop on everything from sports to technology, but one topic tends to win out more than the rest.
One of the most distinct times I remember was during the election with Scott Walker. This bar seemed like a funeral. It was pretty depressing, but at the same time, a lot of times people speak their viewpoint, and a lot of times it turns into a whole clash of ideas, and it's an interesting time.
But in the end, it's about more than talking. It's about more than relaxing. It's about building a community bond together.
It's a good meeting place for people. Once again, it's just the neighborhood people. I mean, it's a really good meeting point for everyone across the neighborhood. I mean, I look out and I know most of the people in this neighborhood because of this place. And a lot of times it's a good chance to meet your neighbors. And people are becoming more and more distant from each other, you know, as we get further along in technology and our own social networking, if you will. It's a good chance to actually get to meet people face to face.
Our final spot is a place steeped in tradition. This 80-year-old establishment has kept students and business people alike fed since 1931 with good food that sticks to your ribs. This is Real Chili. Owner Steve Kostelik gave us the real rundown on what keeps his 80-year-old chili recipe real good.
In 1931, Francis Honich came down from Green Bay to open up a 9-stool chili parlor in the basement of the JZU Residence Hall on 14th, Wisconsin. And over the last 80 years, we've slowly expanded and developed what we have today. In the future, hopefully we're going to continue on, maybe in different cities, maybe more in Milwaukee, but hopefully just keep everything going well.
Real Chili is definitely one of a kind, serving mild, medium, and hot chilies to suit every palate. They are more than proud of their real ingredients, which they've kept the same since 1931.
It's unique and different. I mean, we still use real sour cream and cheese and real food, and we still deal with the same meat vendor we have since 1931, same spice vendor. We still get our cheese from the same place. We haven't changed almost anything if you've ever been here.
And in 80 years, a lot has changed since they first opened their doors, but their proudest accomplishment is simpler than you'd think.
That we haven't changed at all. We haven't cut corners, we haven't done anything that you've seen a lot of the chain restaurants do to try to make a few more points on, couple more cents a year on your revenue. And we just in the same way, and our customers appreciate that.
Real Chili's customers appreciate what they've done over the years. Everything from getting Jerry Seinfeld into the door to serving a second helping option shows that Real Chili's #1 priority has always been feeding their hungry customers.
People want to eat more, so give them another bowl for half the price. They're going to leave happy. A small little food coma.
And even though this 80 years young establishment is determined to keep their recipes the same, they're still looking ahead at what's to come in their future.
I mean, it goes along with staying in what we're doing, but realizing the next opportunity and trying to fit the next opportunity into what we already do.
But in the end, Real Chili is very aware of the effect they've had on their community. They've become more than just an 80-year-old chili parlor, they've grown into a chili establishment.
I mean, most people you talk to, they know of it. It's an institution. I mean, they may only come here once every couple of years, but they are aware of it and they like it. And for the greater Milwaukee, it's just a staple. And then Marquette, it's a tradition that's been going on for generations now.
So, all in all, going off the Eatin path is about two main ideas. It's about trying something new and enjoying the great and unique things your community has to offer. Each of the places we saw today were one-of-a-kind establishments that have more to offer than great food and drink. Each has great people that make that food possible, and good neighbors that are more than appreciated by every owner, every bartender, every barista, every worker that's trying to do something just a little different to make their customers, their neighbors, enjoy these establishments as much as they do. So thank you, Solly's Grill, Fuel Cafe, The Gig, The Irish Knot, and Real Chili for opening your doors for this adventure. We hope that you've enjoyed this trip around Milwaukee, and we hope it encourages you to take your own trip off the Eatin path and try those other hidden treasures in your community.